Hi and welcome along to AFTV. Time to preview the game Crystal Palace versus Arsenal at Selhurst Park. 1:30 kickoff on Sunday, and looking forward to the game. Arsenal have been on an incredible run. Another victory the other night, beating Sporting Lisbon over there in Portugal by 1-0. Danny Welbeck, the goal scorer, and that meant that Arsenal had won 11 games in all competition, 11 straight wins, and they are really flying at the moment. If they was to win on Sunday against Crystal Palace, that would be 12 consecutive wins, and that would be, the last time we did that was in 2007. So we're off to a blistering start. Unai Emery's revolution has been going really well so far. The fans are really upbeat. The other night over there in Lisbon, the fans were absolutely brilliant, right behind the team. And I couldn't say that for last season. I remember going away to a lot of games in Europe, and the fans were, well, to put it bluntly, they were never ever confident. But speaking to fans after the game the other night, they were all looking forward to the game against Crystal Palace, and they were all very confident that we can go there and win. And why shouldn't we be confident? Crystal Palace at the moment are on a terrible run. They're down towards the bottom end of the table. They haven't won a game at home this season. They haven't scored a goal at home this season. I mean, they are just on a really poor run at the moment. Christian Benteke, their main striker, is out injured. Wilfried Zaha, the guy that's been their go-to guy, the guy that really makes them click, hasn't really been performing that great over the last few games. And it's just not been going well for Crystal Palace at all. They lost their last game against Everton, beat them 2-0. As a matter of fact, they've lost their last 3 games. And, you're going to see a Palace team that are going to be low on confidence. And normally, when we go to Selhurst Park, it's the opposite. It's been a Palace team that's been flying. It's been a Palace team that's been confident and always give us a really tough game. I mean, last season, we beat them by 3-2, but, it was a very close game. And the previous season to that, who can forget when Crystal Palace took us apart at Selhurst Park, beating us by 3-0. But as I said, this Crystal Palace at the moment is a team that is lacking in confidence. It is really low in confidence, and they're there for the taking. You've only got to look at their record, as I said. It's just really poor at the moment, and they could equal a top flight record for 5 consecutive home matches without scoring from the beginning of the season, and Palace are going to be really worried about that. So Arsenal have got to go there and take full advantage of Crystal Palace woes at the moment. And, we've got to be there and we've got to be on the front foot. The one thing I really want to see Arsenal do in that game is start the game quickly. It's one of the things that we haven't been doing. We've really been a second half team this season, really stepping it up in the second half. We did it again the other night against Sporting Lisbon. And I really like to see Arsenal getting off to a really fast and a really quick start in this game. If we can do that, we really can have a lot of joy against Crystal Palace. Now, Palace, of course, are going to be really worried about Arsenal's free-flowing, free-scoring football at the moment, spearheaded by Alexander Lacazette. He's been on absolute fire this season, and he'll fancy his chances against that Crystal Palace defence. Aubameyang as well has been on great form. Has got great goal-scoring form. You've also got guys like Welbeck who are knocking on the door. Of course, he looked brilliant the other night, scored that all-important goal. Alex Iwobi as well has been performing brilliantly. And, of course, Mesut Ozil, who was absolutely brilliant against Leicester. He will have an important part to play in the game, as will Lucas Torreira. We cannot underestimate how important this guy is to the team. We saw once again the other night, when he comes onto the pitch and gets the team really ticking, moving the ball forward quickly, he is a really important player. I'd expect Leno to continue in goal. He's done nothing wrong since he stepped in. Cech now is apparently fit again, but I can't see him displacing Leno right now. And Leno playing out of the back, just, he suits us and he's much, much better at doing it than Petr Cech. Now, of course, we'll continue that style of playing out of the back, and it's going to be really interesting to see how Crystal Palace approach it. Will they try and come with a high press and try to win the ball high up the pitch? Or will they sit back against Arsenal and allow us to have the ball? It's going to be really interesting to see how they approach this game. As I said, because they're so low on confidence at the moment, will they be prepared to take that risk against an Arsenal team that we know scores a lot of goals at the moment this season? So it's going to be really, really interesting to see. And of course, Arsenal, if they can get past this game and win this one, then beat Blackpool during the week, would be right set up for that game against Liverpool next week, where if they was to win that, they would set a new record of 14 straight wins for Arsenal, and that would be absolutely incredible. But listen, we can't be looking ahead to those things yet. We've got to deal with every game on its merit, and we all know what the Premier League is like. If you take teams lightly, you will get hurt. And Crystal Palace are no mugs. Said it already, Wilfried Zaha, a top player, a player that I've always said I wouldn't mind seeing at Arsenal. He's tricky, he's quick, he scores goals. He also goes down very easily, so you've got to defend him really, really well, because you can concede penalties against him. He's going to be a really tricky customer. Max Meyer, the guy that they bought from Schalke, he's fit again, so he may figure. Connor Wickham, who just seems to have been out for ages, he could figure in the game as well. He's coming back to fitness as well. So, listen, as I said, Crystal Palace are a team that have got good players. They are not mugs, and Roy Hodgson will be looking for them to go out there and put in a big performance in front of their fans in this London derby. However, I just feel that Arsenal at the moment, the way we're playing, the firepower that we've got, the players that we can bring off the bench, I just feel that we're going to have too much for Crystal Palace in this game. And I do feel that we'll get a few goals as well, especially if we was to score early. I could see a few going in. So I'm going to go for Arsenal winning this game by 3-0. I fancy a clean sheet, and I fancy a lot of goals, and I fancy this team to be really, really confident going into it. What do you guys think? And what do you think the lineup should be as well? Who would you go with for the Arsenal lineup? It's a hard one, because as I said, there's guys, and this is a great problem, and this is a problem that we never seemed to have last year. But you've got players knocking on the door that are saying, I did great in the Europa League, or I've done great when I've come in. I want to start. Welbeck is definitely one of those players, He has definitely got an argument that he can put forth to the manager to say, I scored the other night, I had a goal disallowed, I was all over them. Give me a chance against Crystal Palace. And his pace will worry Crystal Palace, and also he's a player that he'll get up and down, and he'll really help out down the wing. So Welbeck has got a big argument to start. Do you know the only other problem that I haven't mentioned is the problem of the left back? Now, we know that Monreal and Kolasinac, both of those players, have been out injured over the past few games. Granit Xhaka has stepped into that position. And listen, he's done well. He's come in, and he's not been brilliant going forward, and you can't expect that because it's not his natural position. But defensively wise, he's done okay. However, up against guys like Zaha and Townsend, it's going to be a completely different proposition, and I'm hoping and praying that either Nacho Monreal or Kolasinac will be back for that game, or maybe the manager may consider putting Stefan Lichtsteiner into one of those positions. Although the other night, I have to say, it was very worrying the way Lichtsteiner was getting beaten down the flanks on his preferred right-hand side. So, let alone putting him over on the left. And as I said, being up against Andros Townsend and Wilfried Zaha. So, I think that's going to be an area that, Roy Hodgson will be looking to target in the game. So we're really going to have to keep it tight down the flanks. But apart from that, I'm really confident in this game. Only other thing as well, what about a centre-half position? Do you go with Socrates and Mustafi now that he's back? Or do you leave Rob Holding in there? Or should it be Rob Holding and Mustafi and leave Socrates out, or Socrates and Holding? I mean, I just can't see how you can drop Rob Holding right now. He has been excellent since he stepped in. And personally, I just don't think he should be taken out. So, and I can't see him taking out Mustafi because Mustafi's not done anything wrong over the past couple of games. So maybe it could be Socrates who misses out. You've got to play these guys on form. But listen, I'm looking forward to the game. I'm very, very confident we're going to get a win, as I said. I'll go for Arsenal winning by 3-0. Love to know from you guys what you think the team should be. Love to know your predictions. But looking forward to the game. Crystal Palace versus Arsenal.